And young people, because young people are the same everywhere and every time, they think that they know better, and they will say that, oh, porn is no big deal. You, perhaps, who are young, who are watching this, are going to say, oh, it's no big deal. When I was young, I thought the exact same way. When I was young, I thought that porn was great. There was no problem. You're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting anybody, and the performers are doing it consensually, so what's the problem, right? When I was young, I believed that. The older I've gotten and the more I have learned, the more mileage I have, the more I realize how detrimental it is, especially to young people. I've talked to a lot of young people. It's the nature of my channel. I wind up getting in touch with a lot of young guys especially, and they act as if certain sexual proclivities are quite normal and natural, right? And I understand from statistics and information, mainstream information, that a lot of young women, I mean teenage girls really, get involved in all kinds of sexual activities which they should not. They are far too young to be involved in such activities. I'm talking about anal sex and group sex and all kinds of decadences and degeneracies, and they treat it as fairly, la-di-da, no big deal, and completely unaware that it's, number one, not normal, and number two, it causes long-term damage to those young women. The kind of sexuality that is being portrayed in a lot of porn is exceptional, it's radical. I mean, sex is not supposed to be like a lot of the things that are pictured in pornographic movies, readily accessible pornographic movies. And so that's why I think that pornography should be controlled and not shown to young people under the age of 18 or maybe even 21. I mean, frankly, there are lots of places in the United States where kids cannot drink under the age of 21. It's illegal. I don't see why we shouldn't do that with pornography, because pornography is a kind of drug, and we shouldn't pretend otherwise. Yeah, because like any drug, it gives you a warped sense of reality. Number two, it's addictive. And number three, it's very hard to get off of it. And the long-term consequences for the person's psyche can be quite severe. I mean, to me, it looks like an addiction. No different from, say, drugs or alcohol. And there are a lot of guys I know, kids that get in touch with me, who talk about, watching porn all day, That's with your head. There's no other way to put it. It really screws your head and gives you a warped sense of what a normal relationship is. And here's the point, it's setting up young people for vast disappointment insofar as a normal and healthy sexual life is concerned. Yeah. You see pornographic performers, right? And they're doing these acrobatic stunts insofar as sex is concerned, right? And you say to yourself, because you're young and you don't know any better, I can do that. I'll try to copy that with my girlfriend. And that sexual acrobatics, right? You can't pull it off, or you pull it off and it's extremely degrading and potentially dangerous. And it hurts both participants. I mean, it's physically painful for not just the girl, but also the guy as well, All kinds of craziness that occurs in these pornographic movies. And the guy and the girl think that it's normal because they've seen it on Pornhub or whatever. No, this is wrong. And you see, a young person, a 15, 16, 17-year-old person who does not know anything, irrespective of the idiocy of them thinking that they know everything, well, they should not be allowed to be watching this stuff, because they will get a warped sense of what normal sexuality is, and it will be to their detriment. Notice in my argument here, I don't really care about this whole moral thing of like, oh, it'll make you a bad person. No, that's not it. My concern is that it will give you a warped sense of sexuality that you will carry with you, and it will be a disappointment. And you won't ever realize what a normal, healthy sexuality is. And so far as women is concerned, and this is particularly important, you see, women will think that it is quite normal and natural to have multiple sexual partners. But the fact of the matter is that women who have had more than 2 sexual partners lose the ability to pair bond, lose the ability to have a deep and meaningful connection with another human being. And this loss of the ability to pair bond relates not only to a woman's ability to pair bond to a man, but also to bond with her own children. And you will notice a lot of times that more promiscuous women tend to be the worst mothers. Yeah, because their promiscuity has eroded that part of themselves that is necessary to make that strong, long-term emotional bond with her own children. And that's why a lot of times the children of promiscuous women are screwed up at best. And a lot of times they have no kind of real relationship with their mother, and they want to get as far away as possible from the mother. Yeah, because the mother, because of her promiscuity before she had the child, she lost that ability. And pornography is basically fomenting this promiscuity, presenting it as normal. You have some sexual performer and she's, in some group sex scenario on one of these porn films, and she's having sex with 2, 3, 4, 5 guys as if it's a normal thing, and it's not. It's disgusting, and any girl who does that will be severely and irrevocably damaged in a way that she will regret her entire life. That's why I'm against porn. That's why I'm against porn, because it hurts people. It hurts people, it hurts young people who don't know any better. And young people, because young people are the same everywhere and every time, they think that they know better, and they will say that, oh, porn is no big deal. You, perhaps, who are young, who are watching this, are going to say, oh, it's no big deal. When I was young, I thought the exact same way. When I was young, I thought that porn was great. There was no problem. You're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting anybody, and the performers are doing it consensually, so what's the problem, right? When I was young, I believed that. The older I've gotten and the more I have learned, the more mileage I have, the more I realize how detrimental it is, especially to young people. Because you who are young, you simply do not have the experience to understand what you are seeing. You think you do. You think you do because you're falling into the Dunning-Kruger trap. You know the Dunning-Kruger trap? Look it up. You think that because you know a little bit, that your expertise is far greater than it actually is. And as you learn more, as I have, through experience, some sweet and some very bitter, as you learn more, you realize how truly ignorant you were. And as you learn even more, that's when you start to accrue a little bit of, call it wisdom, call it knowledge, call it whatever. And the fact of the matter is, now as a man of 51, I am deeply, deeply concerned about my own small children watching pornography. I will make sure that they do not. And I will have long and very firm conversations with them, explaining to them that they should not watch pornography because it will hurt them. And I know this because I am older. I know this because when I was young, I thought it's no big deal, but as I've gotten older, I realize that it is a big deal. Do keep in mind, I'm in favor of illegal drugs. Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with illegal drugs. I think that illegal drugs, moderately taken, can be a great thing. Yeah, I've done several videos on it. You can find it right here. But my point is that, see, I am not a square. And I'm not trying to foist some sort of, religious morality and saying, ooh, pornography bad because God says so and the Bible says so. No, screw that. I'm saying it because the empirical evidence shows that pornography, long-term, is detrimental to both sexes, especially when they are young. Drugs are also detrimental to people, especially young people. But I don't have a problem with it because as you get older, you realize how to handle your drugs. You realize how to handle your booze. The idea of 21 being the age where you're legally allowed to drink, I think it's A-okay. And I think the same insofar as drugs. That should be the case. They should be legal. And 21 seems as good as age as any, then when you can take it legally. Yeah, same for pornography, because it is a drug. And it's a drug that seems harmless, but long-term it hurts. Yeah, I know that this video is not like a fun video, like some of the other videos I've done, right? And it's never a good idea to be doing a video where you're telling people not to do something, yeah? that guarantees that people aren't going to like it. But it's the truth, see? The fact of the matter is that this channel and the content I produce, I always strive to make content that is true, to tell things as they actually are. And sometimes those truths are amusing. Sometimes those truths are a little bit bitter. And sometimes those truths are downers. And this is one of those truths. It's a downer, but it's true. Porn will hurt you. It will not contribute anything to your life. The fact of the matter is, just jerking off to imaginary scenarios, things that you dream up in your head, I think that that's actually much better, because you're actually exercising your imagination and not just your dick. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but pornography isn't a good thing. And to pretend otherwise, I mean, a lot of libertarians saying that it is a good thing and that we should live and let live. No, I disagree. We have a common society. And a common society means that we all should be striving to have every member of our society be as good as possible, and with an ideal of what is good as possible. And we certainly all want young people to pair bond with one another. We want young people to bond with their own children. That's an important value. A society cannot long endure if its young people do not bond properly and have children and bond to them properly, right? So that's why I think that pornography is bad. And you can say that this is a downer and this is stupid and this and that and the other, but this is what I think. And I have the decades to know that I'm right.